in the car. It's made for that generation of Prius. Has the little teeny terminals that it connects to, and but it's taller also. It fits down in the wheel well. That the next generation they went to a standard type battery, and that's just
I couldn't lift it out.
they're
But
heavy.
I got it in. I couldn't get it out.
They're heavy.
But
Yeah. Anyway,
he was trying to tell me what to do, and I said, "It's not doing it."
I'm
And you
sorry.
get frustrated, and
I know what that kind of
he's used to
thing
doing
is like.
everything himself.
It was a little different, but my brother Joe had MS, and he would lose feeling on one whole side of his body, one not just feeling. He'd have feeling, but wouldn't have any control.
Mm.
And then the arm and leg on first start with, and then it hit his throat where he couldn't hardly swallow. He had to relearn how to put food down, and eventually he ended up having
He can't put food down anymore. He's got a feeding tube.
he had feeding tube.
Yep.
And he went from a 220 pound. He was a taekwondo instructor. That solid 220, 6'4", and when he passed away, he was 107 pounds.
Patty, we were talking today, Chris and I. Is there been any other factories
But it
or
was at the end of
things
his
that
body was
had
just
reduction in employment
taking himself,
besides the
taking
one
itself,
factory?
and what do you call that?
I'm
Eating
not
itself
sure
away.
about Winona. I know Winona went down
It
to
wasn't
one
digesting, it wasn't
shift,
doing it.
but I believe that one shift
then he probably
was doubled in
muscles
people.
weren't working either.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
he had
don't
his lungs
think
were
that
working fine,
Oh.
but he
there was
had the mentality of
And any other
40
Maybe
businesses
a few.
closed up or
that
anything?
because it was
no. In
MS
fact,
is
our
lesions
other
on the brain.
restaurant has just
And it causes
recently
brain damage,
Reopened?
and it was on this side of the brain, so it affected
Just
this
trying
side
to
of his
think
body.
what we could put in here to really
Yeah.
sweeten this up.
I mean,
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm alive.
You are. You get my daughter's yard bud?
It's on Friday.
Okay.
That's Friday.
Is it? I just joked with you.
Yeah, every Friday.
Good for you. Good for her.
There's
She
a
can find
mistake in
something
that
to
one
love.
that she corrected, and I have the correct copy in here
Oh, okay.
as far as
How you like the job?
signing.
I'm not sending it.
Good.
On this one. Or this
Yes,
one?
that's the one that's been revised with
Oh, I was gonna
the
say.
mobile home
I got my
park and the
evaluation
restaurants
tomorrow.
as far as that one.
Okay. I ain't got that far yet.
Yeah, my boss told me, I would have said, don't get nervous, you're doing an extremely well job. But there's some of them have to go through the reevaluation procedure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's nothing you can do about it. You've already done everything that you need to do.
I love the job, but I don't really need to have the job either. You know, that's just busy work for me. Although the money does come in.
Well, yeah, I'm lucky with that. My wife likes it anyway.
Kidding, get all kidding. We used to have a reporter come in up there in the city, and he would deliberately, he would be at one in the hallway, and we'd be the other end, and he was writing everything we said, you know, down. And like, dude, don't be doing that stuff. You know, that's not being a good reporter. You know, needless to say, he was picking out very well.
Didn't look. Just sat down. Like we were changing seats. I better check.
It's good to know who you are.
Sometimes I have to be reminded.
I was just wondering, if you make me sit in the back.
Baker Tilly's gonna be there.
Maybe.
They're good for them. I know I worked with them in the city for 36 years.
Yeah.
It's Chris probably.
If you'll sign in.
I guess. Have you talked
I
to
didn't have to see
John
that.
Hudson?
No.
When he works for the town now, he used to work for Goshen.
Goshen.
Yeah, he's been working for Maveney for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years now.
I know these couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he kept his route, I did my route, so
Yeah,
hope he likes it.
I think he does. I don't get to talk to him as much as I used to since I'm living that way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing he still likes it because he's still living.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, old John. I should say old John, young John.
And he's younger than me as well.
Of course, I'm old.
John's in his 40s.
I'm probably older than anybody in this, well, maybe not you. You might have me. I can say I'm older probably than anybody in the room.
64.
You aren't? Oh, then I got you.
Bet you don't have me.
Oh, how old are you, Susan?
You don't ask a woman. that.
39.
Oh, this is.
See, look at
39.
that.
What are you doing, Derb? Think. Well, she's only 25.
Right, there you go.
Oh,
now
I was
now you're
mistaken.
kissing up. Now you're
Almost.
just trying to butt her up.
Almost 50.
Instead of 29,
Getting
you
there.
just start going backwards.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Sign in, Chris.
Sign in, we'll sign in for about 6 years. I finally caught on to that for about the 6th year, 5th or 6th.
I've always treated ladies very nice. I always treat ladies very nice. Yes, my wife. We go shopping. I drop her off at the door. I go party.
Been?
I pick her
Good.
up.
Barely made it.
Drive up and get her at the door.
Got a speeding ticket.
We'll see it, right? I don't think they'll let you out, but they'll let you.
That's what she just gave me. I think
This month, yeah.
Yes. If you go back there, I think it's second down button. It's like green Etna something. Yeah, up on the wall.
the attorney is here.
Right.
That's right.
Almost missed it. All right, we're moving over. All right, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to start with the first reading of the 2025 budget. You said we don't have to read the fine print, right?
Right.
Okay, so we're going to start with fund names. We have a rainy day fund. Adopted budget is $300. We have a general fund. which is $182,445 is the adopted budget. The adopted tax levy is $128,000. And we move down to local road and street is $13,390. Motor vehicle highway is $34,333. Park and recreation is $7,807. Commutative capital IMP is $2,300. Commutative capital development is $1,854 is the adopted budget. The adopted tax levy is $10,000. Then we move down here to home ruled funds. We have the economical development income tax is $80,000. American Relief Fund is 0. So, is there any comments about any of this? I don't see no comments. And then I guess we're going to announce the close of the public hearing that comes to this as far as the reading of the 2025 budget. So then we're going to move on to minutes. As far as that, we're going to approve our previous minutes from June and August 13th. So we have those two here. I make a motion that we go ahead and approve both of these. Have you guys both had a chance to read these over?
Yep.
So I make a motion that we sign these and approve these minutes.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. If I sign these, I'm not getting copies though.
I will get you a copy
Okay.
and it'll be signed.
Suggested.
I don't sign these, do I?
Yeah, you just approve them, so you sign them. You could send that to Heath. Oh, wait, we have to do them one at a time, not both of them together, is that right? Is that correct?
There's two separate minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, then that's not a bad idea.
So
So
let's
You just signed the August, so, you can,
I sent both of them.
Would be, say that we approve the August ones first, or say we approve the June ones, say, on that one.
Right.
And then we'll be, now we motion to accept the minutes for the
June.
August,
June.
for the August meeting.
Those got it.
That way we'll do June 1st, they were the oldest.
So that's the one that we just approved a minute ago then?
Yeah.
As far as that goes. So now we're gonna make a motion that we approve the minutes for the August 13th meeting.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 send that to Heath.
That is signed.
Yeah.
We
No.
did sign it.
Send it to him, that's his copy.
That was. Oh, that's his copy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have a copy, but this is the one that we had to change as far as that goes. That had the,
Oh. No.
but then I'm not gonna have a copy of the June one is the one I don't have a copy of. That's the correct one that I still need a copy of.
Okay, I'll get you the copy.
Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and move on to approval of accounts payable vouchers.
which is in the amount of $183,238.67, and that is with a $15,000 letter of credit that we will be repaid next month from Winona.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the accounts payable vouchers.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye. That was 180. 8.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on to clerk treasurer's business.
Okay, we have adjustments in the amount of $207.22, and it's, if you can see, it's from a leak and some watering of. I'm sorry, that's 2 leaks and then watering of some gardens.
I make a motion, we accept the adjustments.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I want to make sure that everybody knows that we're going to have hydrant flushing on the 23rd through the 26th. He's going to need an extra day since it's just him for that in September. So it'd be in 2 weeks. And that's all I have.
All right, guess we're gonna go ahead and move on to ordinances and resolutions. I know we've got some stuff going on as far as that goes. Is there anything you wanna bring us up to date on, Nick, as far as that goes?
Yeah, I can talk about that. So Susie has done a lot of work going through the handbook for town policies and also going through the town code. I've looked at what she has given to me. There's a lot there. My proposal on how to move it forward in the way that I think would be the most efficient would probably be to schedule 1 or 2 working sessions in addition to the regular meeting. And then those are published, it's a hearing, we can do business at those. And then the council is able to communicate with one another about changes that they would like to see for the way that some of these are going. A lot of the changes that are going to be made before they can take effect and be passed, public hearing has to occur. But if we do a working session, you guys can start talking about forms of amendments to ordinances that you would like to see. And then if you guys are in agreement with that, then we can publish those and then do the public hearing at a normal meeting and then vote on the changes. So I would say at least 2 working sessions. Those don't need to both be within the next month, but that would be my suggestion on how to tackle it in the most efficient way.
Do you have any idea when they were last codified?
Codified, Patty's of the belief that it was like 5 or 6 years ago.
Because I went back to 2014
Yeah,
and I only found one, and it had to do with parking right here. So I took that one out.
yeah.
And the other one we did this year, first of this year, about parking downtown that we took out.
Right,
Four
that you can
sections of
park,
that.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
park overnight on the
We left
streets now. as far
5,
as
and that
that.
was modified, and that's the only thing I found that was,
That very well
So-
may be,
okay.
yeah. But that would be my proposal on how to efficiently come up with changes that we can publish and then do the public hearing. I think that'd be the quickest path forward. any questions about that.
You have a list of the ordinances that are gonna be, that we need to look at, will you be there for these, or?
Yeah,
For
I'll,
for the meetings?
yeah,
working
I'll
meetings?
attend these working sessions.
Okay,
And Susie has a document that she's put together where she's gone through everything, and she's found some that are very old and maybe need to be changed, where some of them are referencing positions within the town that just don't exist anymore. That would be an example. But she has a document where she's itemized the ones that we need.
Licenses for
And then-
pool tables.
what we talk about, then you'll go back and rewrite them and have them ready for us for the next meeting after.
Yeah, so ideally, when we do the working session, everybody can look at them, and maybe you guys can informally talk about directions that you would like to see them go. And then if the council is in agreement on a path forward for removing or amending an ordinance, then you guys could vote to publish notice of that and to do a public hearing. And then I could prepare that new updated version. We would publish that, and then we would do the public hearing at a normal meeting. And when the public hearing is closed, then the council could vote at that point if they want to amend or eliminate the ordinances.
Okay. When do we want to have the meetings on this?
We're just gonna have to get together like we have in the past and sit down times that, we wanna do this, as far as that goes.
We gotta work with Nick on this, on times,
Right.
Yeah,
when he's available and we ought to we ought to get right on it if we wanna do
If we wanna
things.
get one worked in this month, we need to get on it as far as that
Yeah.
goes, yes. So,
Okay.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be easier to have them codified first so that the ones that have already been changed reflect the change, and then have the working sessions to?
yeah, I could see there could be some advantage to doing it that way, because there's a few that you found that you could remember that there had been ordinances passed since they were last codified.
Kind of get them out of the way before we have to, and then before we get into the other ones, just kind of eliminate them out of the way.
but if
Yeah.
we codify, then we have to turn around and go back and recodify afterwards, and, I mean, that's not cheap to do that.
I don't know what the costs are, but yeah, if you codify them now and then we go through and we amend or remove or make significant changes, in order to get them brought up to date after all those changes, you're gonna have to recodify.
I think we should go ahead and get it all changed, and then we'll codify it once, and that way there's one price, one fee. I mean, it's been, like we've said before, past meetings, it's been how many years since it's been done? We're not getting a fine for not codifying it. I'd rather just, I mean, Susie's been working on this for 9 months, so I think we need to move forward and get these changes done. And then,
If American Legal goes through and they codify all these, and they'll send us a draft, but then they talk about a conference call. Well, I've got 11 or 12 pages.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they wanna sit on the phone and go through all this deleting and changing, and that's why I think it needs to be done ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then send it in and make a few, maybe tweak it here and there
Yeah.
after they get done.
And if it's, I would say on a similar note, if it was 2014, the last time they were codified, that's a lot longer than what it should go.
It
I
might
would
have
say
been a
that
little longer.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
council probably every 3 to 4 years, that would be a good idea to say, okay, let's codify them. That way, when people are getting online and they're looking at the code, they're getting an accurate current version of the code.
don't look at me, it's my first year, so.
Yeah.
I got that excuse right there,
Well,
you know what I
We
mean,
expect
as
them
far
to
as.
follow the ordinances, and we don't
Well,
even
we
know what's
don't.
in there.
Right,
Yeah.
we're not even taking and doing like
Let
it
alone
says as far as that goes.
Residents know, so.
So are we done with that then?
Yeah, if we all want to communicate about a date that
We
works
need
for
to get,
everybody for a
let's
working
try and
session.
get one in this month as far as that goes, a date that works for everybody as far as that, and, we'll try and get that worked out as far as that goes, and then we can try and get another one in next month, so we're not trying to take in, like you said, take all of it on at once, as far as that, cause there is a lot there that needs to be looked at.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to fire and township business.
We don't really have much. We do plan on decorating the station and doing some fun stuff with the kids for Halloween next month. And then, have you guys, Patty, gotten that email from J&J yet? With that quote for the electronic iron?
No, that
Will
should,
you get with me after the meeting and make sure, give me like what emails they need to be sending it to, so I can hold them up and make sure that they're sending it to the right place?
you bet.
Have we set up a date for Halloween?
No.
We probably ought to set up a date for Halloween, speaking of,
Right.
yeah. And, we usually do it on the Saturday before to have the hayride for the,
What day is Halloween?
was the day, Halloween is the 31st, is a
Thursday?
Thursday, but the hayride will probably be the 26th, won't it?
And how many people are?
Usually that day, that brings more in that day, for the hayride is what day of the year, that day, and that's why we've been doing it. We used to always do it on the day of Halloween, but that day, it helped the Lions Club out a lot. That day,
I had 239.
what's that?
I had 239 trick-or-treaters last year.
Oh, boy.
I went over and stole candy off of Jeff, and I stole candy out of drawers and every place I could find candy. I thought I had enough, but
I make motion we set up our Halloween for the 26th of October, Saturday the 26th, and what times we normally do that? 5 to
5 to 7. we just
5 to
do it.
7, and the hayride will start at 7. So usually trick or treating is done by then.
Start buying candy now.
Right. So you did make a motion on that, Keith?
Yes, I made a motion
I
on that.
second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's taken care of. Okay, now we're gonna move on to attorney business, so we're back to you, Nick.
All right.
You got the table tonight, I'm telling you.
All right, sounds good. A few quick updates. One thing that I've been talking about is the KEDCO paying their half of the cost for the residential TIF that was done. There was a bill from the Redevelopment Commission for the work that was done. KEDCO was supposed to pay for half of that. The town was supposed to pay for the other half. The people with KEDCO have been communicating with me lately, so I think we're covering some ground on that. They wanted a copy of the memorandum of understanding. I gave that to them. They wanted a copy of the bill. Patty got that to me and I gave it to them. So it sounds like I haven't gotten confirmation, but it sounds like they're working on taking care of their end. So there's some good progress with that.
We did pay our half, right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't know who to send it to, so I got an email with who I should put on the check,
Okay,
and I haven't gotten it back yet.
okay. I just wanna make sure that we at least get that part taken care of, so they can't be, so we're doing our part, you know what I mean, and wait for them to drag their feet, so, yeah.
Yep, we're moving that forward. A different thing, there was some discussion last month when Jason was on the council. He had been communicating with an organization, I thought, that was in the business of drafting ordinances and policies for the town's utilities. That was my understanding of it. So I told the council that I would communicate with Jason, find out who that was, and start talking to them. I found out who that was. It's an engineering firm from Ohio, and I emailed with the guy from there. He basically told me they help with miscellaneous electric matters, but they don't prepare any ordinances. And it doesn't sound like they prepare any policies. So Patty emailed me. You think he was maybe talking with the county about some changes to stuff?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So I can try to talk to them, but
Right.
that lead that it looked like we had, it seems like they're not going to be able to help us out with that kind of thing. And the final thing, I forwarded 1 or 2 emails to the council that I received from attorneys who represent the mobile home park. I think, are you guys here today to speak on behalf of the mobile home park?
Yes.
Okay. So they may have an update for you, but I've sent you kind of what they're asking me. And it sounds like they want to move forward with doing what they need to do to move this first mobile home, at least from the one lot to the new lot.
Can we go ahead and discuss that while you have the table?
Yeah,
Then,
that's
as
fine
far
with
as
me.
that goes, I mean, I don't mean to change the schedule, but since you're going over this, I would like to hear from you guys right now if you're here to represent the trailer court.
Okay, yeah, we were just wanting to move lot 31 over to 43. It's a newer trailer than what was there. It's a smaller trailer than what was there. So it will fit the dimensions of the pad. But it's just where it's sitting at now, we're just no use to us. So we'd like to get it moved over so we can get it rehabbed and get somebody in there and move.
That's, it is, I think the ordinances is, it was to be 10 years newer, is that and then it goes on to a full pad?
Yep.
Okay,
And it's got
Well-
the peak roof, it's
the what?
the peak roof, it's got the peak roof and all that, so it meets all the standards that you guys require.
So
Sounds
if I
like
could
a
give
big-
you my opinion on that. So in talking with their attorneys, the mobile home stuff gets pretty complicated because when we last passed mobile home ordinance, that was before the town joined the area plan commission for enforcement of a county zoning ordinance. So now essentially this is a county issue. It's up to the county on whether or not they want to allow it. Before the county decides, they like to have input from the town council. So my recommendation, I think when they came before, there were two potential issues that the county had concerns about. Sounds like one of them was whether or not it was going to be on a foundation. And if she's saying it's going to be on a foundation, then it sounds like that has been addressed. And then the other thing was whether where it was going to be placed, if it was going to be within the setbacks that are required by the county. Do you know if you guys are going to be in compliance with that?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So then if that's the case, they're compliant with what the county is asking. So I would probably say under those conditions, you should approve of it on the condition that it's on a foundation and they're compliant with the setbacks and the other county requirements.
Need a motion for that, or
Yeah, I would
Yes.
recommend doing a
Yeah.
motion.
I make a motion that we allow the trailer to be moved from 31 to
43.
43 at as long as it is compliant with those conditions of the foundation and setbacks. That day, I have no objection to that.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Yeah, do they need anything in writing from the council?
I think
Yes.
Patty's
I'll
talked
send
to
them
them.
I'll send Matt an email.
Okay. Sounds good. And that's all I've got.
Okay, we're
Okay,
gonna
I'm
move.
headed home. Thank you all very much and have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to new business. We have Amber from Baker Tilly.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Nice to see many of you again. Keith, I don't know if we've ever met, so it's nice
No.
nice to meet you.
My first year.
Well, welcome. I've worked with the town for several years. I helped Patty with miscellaneous items. I have Lena here with me from our office as well. She's just observing tonight. You should have two reports in front of you, one for water, one for sewer. So every year, typically in about March, we review the utilities financials for the previous year. So this March, we would have issued a report that reviewed the financials for 2023 for water and sewer. And then at every June 30th, we review kind of a check-in, like a 6-month budget to actual comparison. So that's what these reports are here. I'm here because I want to talk to you and make a recommendation a little bit more in terms of water. So if you want to open the water report, I'm just going to highlight, and these reports are designed to be very easy for you to read. They're graphical, they explain things, we try to in like layman's terms. That way you as a council can read these and hopefully have a good understanding of where the utilities financials were at the June 30th mark. So if you flip to page 2 on water, you'll see a graph here that covers multiple periods, and this graph represents the fund balances of the water utility. Oh, you missing a copy? Or?
My copy's laying on my desk over my office over
Oh,
there.
okay.
As
That's
far
all
as
right.
that
Go
goes.
ahead.
But go ahead, yeah.
So this chart represents the fund balances. So you can see if you start in like the middle of the chart, which would be June 1st, 2023, trending down to June 1st, 2024, you can see water's fund balances has decreased quite a bit over the past couple of months. Moving on to page 3, if you look at table 2, you can see on the far right column, this table compares receipts and disbursements for the last 3 years at the June 30th mark for water. That decrease in fund balance is primarily attributed to, if you look at the far 2 columns on the right of that column, you'll see those are for June 30th, 2024, because disbursements are outpacing receipts by about $20,000 for the water utility. We're all aware if that trend continues, makes the fund balances start to decrease. So further as you read throughout this report, if you move on to page 4, you'll see that again, and these charts again represent water's fund balances in total compared to where they should be. So the bar, the upwards bar, and then the bold number up top are the total fund balances in compared to the line, which is the recommended reserve, so where the fund balances should be. So you can see that in the far right column, the fund balances were still above recommended reserves at June 30th, but the bar is getting shorter. So essentially, water's fund balances are on a downward trend that we really don't want to continue moving forward. So if you continue to read throughout this report, it's due to a couple of reasons. One, we saw less revenue from Winona powder coating, which was something we saw a few years back in sewer, which triggered a rate increase to recover those revenues. That I talked with Patty, that sounds like they have a reverse osmosis system, so just using more water, they're getting, or using less water, they're getting billed for less water. So a decrease in revenues, as well as an increase in expenses. A lot of that being due to, I know the town is contracting Asbury at the moment to run the utilities. That is quite a more costly for the utilities than it has been in the past to hire operators. And I know there's some apprentices working towards being certified to do that, but for the time being, it is more costly to the utilities. So at the end of this report, we do mention that we should proceed with caution and possibly consider doing a quick high-level rate study to see, is water in the situation that sewer was in a few years ago a negative downward trend, because we don't want water to get below, fund balances to get below where they should be. So I think we should probably continue this year, review the full calendar year of 2024 financials to see where water ends up, and then do a rate analysis early 2025 to see if water truly does, if operations continue as is, if water truly does need maybe a small rate adjustment to catch up that downfall. What we don't want is to get into a point where water is so far in the deficit, it is harder for the utility to recover.
Then we have to make a big increase. That day, we want to do it, we want to do it before we make a little increase rather than have to make a big increase.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. So doing it sooner than later makes
Yeah,
it a smaller
if we could, it'd be better to wait until the first of the year to really get a good look at this.
I mean, we certainly don't have to. We can, so this financial information was through June 30th. We could pull, through August or through September from Patty. So get like maybe 9 months of the year to kind of see, is this the information we want to do it on? That way, you guys could review the rates and see is a small rate increase needed and have that in place maybe by January 1st, or we can review a full calendar year. But Patty, from what you're seeing, if the revenues from Winona are consistently down, and if expenses are consistently higher, which, hiring Asbury, they're going to be the same every month, it might make sense to do it sooner if you are all in agreement with that.
Well, there's also improvements that need to be done to the water system anyways, as far as that goes. So, I mean, a rate increase is inevitable as far as that, because the equipment is outdated.
Yes, absolutely.
And I mean, every month we're getting, reports of this needs fixed, and we haven't done anything about a lot of the systems that we have that need to be updated. And that's why we're, trying to move forward, but the rate increase is inevitable.
Right.
As far as that, because the equipment is outdated.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because through June 30th, water had done no capital improvements, and you were already short less $20,000. Receipts were trailing behind operating disbursements 20,000.
Right.
So if you need capital improvements too, that's going to be on top of that 20,000 shortfall.
Were you talking water or wastewater that needs?
I'm talking water
wastewater.
and both of them, but specifically with the water, with the clarification system that needs updated as far as that, the fans that need updated. I know we're using tablets and they're wanting us to switch to something else.
Yeah, it's just cheaper.
Right, as far as that, but I mean, we're getting this in a report as far as every month, from Ashbury as far as things that need to be updated. So I mean, it's in here again. Look at the economy and where it's at. I mean, everything is going up, so it's inevitable that we're going to have to raise prices too, so that we can keep up with the rest of the economy and what's going on.
Yeah, we've
Where
got.
are we at with that infrastructure grant?
I have not a
That's why we're
clue.
here.
That's why they're
No,
sitting here.
no, I meant that 32,000.
That's the money that we need to spend before the end of the
Yeah,
year as
where
far
are
as
we at
that
with
goes. And I mean, the suggestion that I have on that is, I mean, have we ordered the backup pumps that
I
Ashby?
got two up there at the shop right now. I'm getting ready to take those over to Kessler's, just have them looked at, because they're our
Okay.
backup pump right now. So.
Okay, so we got that because that was in the report. And then the next thing that they're putting on the monthly report too is that we need to address the walkways out there. And I think that,
That's part of the.
yeah, but I
'Cause
think
I don't have the equipment to have anybody come in. I don't have the equipment to go in there personally take those catwalks out.
well, I'm not talking about taking them out. I'm talking about we taking order some fiberglass grating and throw down on top
That's
of
gonna
it.
take more than that. If it was fiberglass grate, but that whole section all
Is it
across
rotten?
it is just rusted out. It just all needs to be replaced.
Well, I know the one piece of sheet metal I seen that's out there last time. I mean, if that's wet, you walk across it and slip and fall. I mean,
No.
that's a violation right there.
But that whole beam across that whole tank right there is just
Right.
rusted underneath just as bad as it is on top.
So we need to
really
get-
nothing really to attach or screw anything to. You start screwing into it, it's just gonna bust away even more or whatever to put the grating on it anyway.
Right.
So
Well, the grating could be reused later on when it's updated as far as that goes, if we update the structure underneath of it. So
But we have to spend that 32.
it has to be spent by the end of the year, yes.
Then we better be spending it.
Right. I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, we need just little things that we need here in town or whatever, we need to start getting that taken care of.
He's on it already.
So don't even say anything. We're not getting a mower.
But it does look, but it does look like we're going to, by me reading through this, it looks pretty clear that we're not going to be changing our, the way it's moving, as far as the water rates and the disbursements and what's coming in and then what's disbursements, it's not gonna change the other way around. And what I've learned in the past is it's better to get ahead of it as best we can, and make it so it can be a smaller one, rather than waiting to see if it's going to change. I don't see that it's going to change with the expenses and all. That we're going to have to. We can always adjust it again later, but I would say we probably ought to be looking at some kind of a small adjustment now.
Yeah, because I guarantee you, if you make a big adjustment, that's gonna make a lot of people in town very upset.
If people want clean water and people want to drink water, they're gonna have to pay for it. So I mean, yeah, we need to make an increase. We need to make an increase.
Do you
It's
have
just
any
part of-
recommendation on how much of an increase we ought to be doing it to get this back to even par?
We would take your verbal approval back and run those numbers and then provide you at an upcoming council meeting exactly what percentage it would be. But on the capital note, so real quick before I jump there, the sewer report is laid out the exact same. At a high level, sewer is looking pretty good, but it's pretty close to a break-even point. Meaning, we're not suggesting a rate increase in the sewer report. Sewer just did raise rates 22, so it's fairly recent. However, if there are major capital improvements needed in the coming years or project, which I see there, Chris, or
That-
a major project, that would definitely
A lot will be
change
dependent on
rates.
what the
So-
Commonwealth can do for us on that, so.
Right, but it would affect the proposed rate increases, and if that is the case on wastewater, I probably suggest looking at water and wastewater at the same time. And then that way, if there is an increase needed on both, doing them together instead of.
Rather than separately.
Yeah, only, I mean, wastewater's fine unless there are major improvements that are
There's a
needed
lot that
over
needs
the
improved.
next.
And I'm sure you guys aren't gonna take care of all of it, you know what I mean? We're still gonna have to foot the bill for quite a bit of it, so I mean.
So we would wanna get that information from you, kind of like a 5-year outlook on those capital improvements, or if there are any even potential projects, large projects in the work. And then we take this information that we already have and calculate a precise rate adjustment. But doing it sooner, you could also decide to phase it in smaller increments rather than all at once if it got to that point. Okay, any
What do you wanna
questions?
do?
I think we should move forward on taking and seeing what improvements we need to make as far as that goes, and if we need to start making small adjustments so that we can catch back up to where, you know, where we're at. We know that we have a ton of infrastructure problems here in town that need to be addressed, that are outdated, that needs a lot of help, and we need to take care of it, you know what I mean, so that we're putting out the best for the people here in town.
Okay, absolutely, we can get started on that, so I will reach out to Patty with an information request, and we'll be in touch soon then.
You'll be back.
Oh,
Yes.
we have to approve it.
I make a motion that we move forward with what we just discussed on working with Baker Tilly, on the rate increases that we need to make. So,
I second that motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We done with that discussion?
Okay, that's, yeah,
Okay.
that's what.
All right, we're gonna move on to Chris Harrison and Gail Gerber from Commonwealth.
Hmm?
I think you got mine.
No, these are mine. These
You
are,
have two?
yeah, I have wastewater and water.
Oh,
So
okay.
you-
Here's it.
I have a
What?
copy of them.
Yours is,
Okay.
I think yours is on the bottom, Susan.
they're down here.
Oh, they're clear in the,
There's
no wonder I
two of
couldn't
them there.
find them.
You need some more stuff in there.
So, everyone, to catch up speed on the income survey information. Patty, did the council get the letter?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. With that, Gail and I reviewed the information today. I think there's some more information that can be incorporated into the letter that's going to enhance the community's opportunity to have the income survey approved. One of the things that we noticed is that, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but a large portion of the residents travel out of town here for work.
Yes.
Yes, okay. And I think we are missing an opportunity here to include some of the factories that have closed down here, Medtronics, Donley. I think there was an RV factory up north here that potentially was closed down. And I don't know how many residents were actually working at those establishments, but I think it needs to be included in here. Although Etna Green doesn't necessarily have the industry, that doesn't mean that that doesn't influence the residents of the community.
Cause they've gotta go somewhere else, to look for jobs, and they might have to move or.
Well, that's,
Yeah.
you know, they're coming back here to live, but if they lost their job, they lost their job, right? Okay, so what I want to do is reach out to Olivia and do some incorporation of that information into this letter, and then have some discussion of some of the bullet points she's put together as well. Basically, what I'm asking is that the council wants to approve the letter with the modifications. That's up to you, or we can wait till next month. I know that MACOG wants to meet on the 12th to start the gathering information to start worth the income
Thursday.
survey.
Right, this Thursday we're gonna.
Yes,
Right.
Gail will be there. I have another conflict, but one of us will be there either way to walk through that process. So we're moving forward with the income survey.
Right.
At that point in time, MACOG will identify how many surveys they need to complete to meet the OCA requirements. And then basically they will want a residential or list that they can mail out to customers. Now, typically, the way that income survey goes is that I have to meet this quota of survey results coming back. So they'll mail out the initial information to a set amount of residents and what comes back, and then they'll do a second round of residents until they meet that quota of survey information accordingly. The other thing that they'll want to do is to develop a survey for the residents to fill out accordingly. And that's going to be on discussion on the 12th. And what does that look like? Patty will probably have that survey here as well at Town Hall. That way someone once steps in and fill out the information, they're able to do that and drop off accordingly. Now, the financial portion of the income survey is all private. No one sees any of this information. So we want residents to be accurate and thorough putting their information in. The more results of surveys we have, the more accurate it is, the better chance we're going to have to obtain that classification as a distressed community, if you want to call that. Okay? So please promote that. We want residents to do the income survey. But with that, tonight you have the residential letter in front of you that is going to be submitted to Okra. Like I said, there's a few modifications that we can easily have done by Thursday. And with that, those modifications, I'll send over to Patty and Heath and the rest of the council for you to review. So at that point, that's where we're at. Everything's moving forward.
So you're saying we might be able to sign that paperwork on Thursday?
Yes.
Now, is that legit that all three of us have to be there to sign this paperwork?
No, it's just the council president at this point.
Okay,
in
so
time.
so my name that's on the end of this here, I'm the one that has to sign it.
Yes.
All right, gotcha. I just didn't know if we all three had to be here in order for me to make that decision, or like I said, if I can, I'll definitely be here on Thursday, so that won't be a problem.
Do we need to make a motion for you to make that that agreement that here in the public meeting that you can do that outside of that once they make the what do you call that, the adjustments or
Incorporating the information and a few adjustments in the letter. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Make a motion to authorize Heath to sign the letter on behalf of the council.
I make a motion to have Heath sign this letter once the adjustments or information has been put in that day.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're official.
I'm official.
With that, Gail and I will make contact with Olivia and tell her our viewpoints that we'd like to see in here incorporated that we think is going to enhance. And the reason we say this is that we see that same language in other communities that are going through an income survey, and they typically get the approval letter passed. So that's why we want to incorporate those in here.
Okay.
All right. Is that all you guys have?
That's it.
That's it. And then we will see each other on Thursday, or at least Gail will be here.
Yes.
Since you're,
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock, yep.
Okay. 11 o'clock.
We already took care of the Etna Green Mobile Home Park. We've got that part taken care of. Does anybody else have any other questions, comments, or here to see us tonight?
Yeah, Amy's here to talk about a mural
You're okay.
for Etna Green.
I met you. I don't know if you remember me. I met you probably before you actually became official.
Right.
So that was a while back.
Right,
but
right.
Amy Rye worked for the county, and Etna Green was part of the HELP program. Though, unfortunately, due to some circumstances, no funding was received. We still were able to go through the process. And so Etna Green community members participated in a very long process of finding projects that they felt like would make sense for the community. It was We had a really nice meeting here that I don't know if you were able to come to.
I was at November and December's meetings as far as that goes.
Okay, so we had this beautiful meeting that was over here at the park, and probably actually my favorite of all of the community meetings that we had because it was a beautiful day. Lots of people came out, but at that meeting, multiple ideas were submitted for potential projects to move forward with. And so we've been attempting to try to find one of the projects to get over the finish line. And so we had the mural project as the easiest, if you will, the lowest hanging fruit to be able to accomplish so that we can say to the citizens that your time was not wasted. Because I think that's the biggest thing is these people gave a lot of evenings and a lot of time to come out and share information. And so Susie and a few others have been part of this to be able just to look at what that would look like. And so I've got some information. So we've met multiple times. I can't even remember how many times we've met now. I could several times just to understand the who, what, when, where, how, all the things. We do have a donor who has actually given us seed money to go towards a grant that is very passionately interested in Etna Green. He is anonymous, but it is he. And so that individual is very passionate about helping to move one of these projects forward. So we found an individual who grew up in this community, who now lives in Indianapolis. He reached out and would like to give back to the community to help to make this happen. He is a young man, and he actually came all the way here to meet with us so that we could vet him to make sure that everybody in the room was okay with him. Justin Vining is his name. I don't know if anybody knows of Justin.
It's Myron Vine's son.
I went to school with him. Kid graduated with.
Okay, so you know him.
Mhm.
Really good kid. Very passionate about Etna Green, passionate about helping the community. And so also we had looked at potentially if we didn't love painting on a building, which we had some challenges with that, then we also looked at what would it look like to do something different, which was some of, and I have pictures of that too, I can show you that, but it's not painting on it, but painting on actual panels and then attaching the panels to whatever building because it's less permanent and a little bit more comfortable for some folks. So obviously putting paint on a wall is forever. I mean, I guess you could paint over it, but
Till it falls off.
Till it falls off, right?
Right, and we got that going with this mural over
right. So that was kind of some of the context of what we talked about. So doing something like this is a little bit more permanent, but also not permanent. So you could switch it out. And so we had a gentleman who I don't even remember now because it has literally been 2 years we've been talking about this, how we found him. But the gentleman who actually was interested in supporting us ended up dying in a tragic airplane accident. But his brother found out that he was I sent an email asking for a follow-up meeting. And he said, he is no longer with us, but I will meet with you. And so he is discounting his services to us due to the fact that he realized that his brother was very passionate about Etna Green. So very odd circumstances. I'm telling you, this project's been kind of an interesting mix of tragedy and joy and challenge, but we are not giving up on it because I promised multiple Etna Green residents that we would figure something out to do what we do. So to make sure that they feel like a project's gotten done. So Susie and I met the other day, and I did print off the pictures to the best of my knowledge from what we sent Justin. So we looked at, Justin asked us to look at different pictures of things that he potentially could paint on this said document or this panels. So I have a few different ones. I guess I'll just pass them around. This one right here, oddly enough, this was one that you sent, right, Susie? This was or somebody had sent. This was an old time mural that was
that was the original
Bicentennial.
Yeah, so that was the one that was interesting that Justin actually remembers, but wasn't here when it was there because 1976. I don't know when you were born, but I'm pretty sure Justin's a lot younger than that. So this is not one we're choosing, but I just brought that as kind of a example of that Etna Green has had multiple murals. So pictures here if you guys want to look at them. where we stand is we would just need, and I think what Susie had expected for me to come to share is a consensus on a specific design picture. And then we have 2 locations that have been identified of individuals who are interested. We had originally wanted to do the museum because we had trails and such that we're going to go out there. We thought that'd be a nice addition, but that is not something that the museum is currently interested in allowing us to do. So we are looking at here either the post office on the side or the liquor store on the side. I am favorable towards the post office. That's easier to have a celebration, especially since we'd like to invite children to this. And so we could do the liquor store, but I feel that would be very awkward for, inviting children. That's just my thought. I don't make that final decision, obviously, but I think it would be neat to have another community event in which we celebrate something that we've accomplished. We could invite the community and say, hey, this is the unveiling of a new mural, and just celebrate something positive in the community progress and the hard work of these folks who spent many hours being part of a committee. So
It'll be a historical photo.
yeah, it's going to be something
historical for
yeah,
Etna
I
Green.
mean, the hope is to invite the whole
I mean,
community.
there was good
where
potential
the-
photos there that I saw that I'd like to have input from the community on what they thought, but
Yeah.
there was I thought there was some good potential there.
Yeah, I mean, one thought is you could pick like a couple of them and maybe post them on like your social media or whatever that you get input on, and let the community pick it. I don't know if that would be something that would be a viable option, but maybe
Has the artist seen this?
he has his favorites.
But
mainly
I
because
just wanted to make sure that that what we would be picking would be a
yes.
viable thing that he could do.
Yes, and he just, he said he had his favorites just because they, for whatever reason, historically meant something to him. But that he wanted to follow whatever the town council was interested in doing. So, like I said, we could choose a couple of those and then, say, hey, choose A or B, if you will. And then, really kind of decide, because the final cost related to the subject matter, or to this project, will basically be the subject matter and how complicated it is, as well as the location, because that will determine how many of the panels that these panels have to be chosen. So that will be the final. Then they can give me the final cost, and then we can, figure out.
Because this one would be a lot bigger than the end of the west end of the old pyramid.
Yeah, building's
Yeah.
not nearly as.
I think there was less. What was that
I
right
don't think it's
offhand?
be a picture of Everett Carroll changing the tire.
If we did it down at Pyramid, that would be
That would be the one.
that would be the place to put it down at Pyramid.
Big picture of his face right on the side.
But like you say, that's a smaller building. That'd be quite a bit smaller, but yet that is also right there on the main through town where
That's got
where
history,
both
too.
where
Yeah.
everybody's a
if
lot
you
more
feel
people will see it, but
Yeah, people like the community won't have a problem with like celebrating something there,
that'd
and
be a good place too for it, right over there.
Because that's the
Yeah.
thing is, just because I'd like to make a big deal about it. I'd like to. I'd like to show off Etna Green, because Etna Green deserves it, and they worked hard, and they've had a lot of struggles in the last bit. So I think it'd be neat to bring the tourism office and just really kind of do something that would celebrate a part of the community that deserves it, that doesn't get a lot of attention. And
Do you
so,
need a decision on these? Say, want to pick a 2 or 3 tonight, or
if you could, then it would help. We could at least take the next step. So
Yeah,
I just feel like if we could
you
just
have-
take one more step,
Does anybody have any opinions what they think if we did a mural? Which building?
I don't know which buildings you're speaking of.
Post
other than
office, right
post
behind
office.
you.
office, and then the liquor store that's over there across from
The white building across from Freedom Express.
Used to
that
be
was
Pyramid
The
Oil
west
years ago.
end.
Post office.
It'd be the west end.
My gut was the post office, but I don't live here, so only because it is safer location when it comes
because it's
to
what?
safer location when
Oh.
it comes to it's hard when you're putting out if you put out a press release and those kinds of. Not that I don't love the liquor stores, I mean, obviously they have a
Right,
purpose,
but
but
we'd be doing free advertising for the liquor store is basically what we'd be doing
Kind
if
of.
we use that building. as
I
far
mean,
as
there
that
could
goes.
be some challenges in the
Right.
way that it's perceived, and the post office seems like a safer location just because there's no things.
We have
that-
permission from both those buildings to
I
be
believe
used.
they're both interested, yeah, if it's historical.
Yeah, if it's
Okay.
historical. And so Susie's
They
done a
do.
lot of the hard work behind the scenes to
So
really
we
just
can only do
navigate.
one.
Yeah,
And
yes.
since it's panels, they'll
Mhm.
just attach the panels, and if we ever take it off, they will repair the
Yeah,
building.
so we would get like,
Okay.
the memorandum of
Yeah,
understanding
we
and
could
make sure
put-
it's all
we
like,
could get quite a bit bigger over here, and and against the brown, I think would probably look better than against the white.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was Justin leaning towards one picture?
I think the one that he was saying was, that's I'm gonna hit up this gas station over here, provides food for events. That's what that is. I already have the application. I know
he was first
we-
looking at
we-
my corner looking north.
Yeah, I know we liked that one, right? That was the one that we were thinking about.
Yeah,
I like that one in your hand 'cause it's from my building.
well, there's one that's got the train in it too.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to remember.
I-
Let me
that's
pull
one I
up
noticed
Justin's.
was a train one.
Maybe put a big wheel bicycle in here too. I mean, he can.
Oh,
add
right,
to
you can
this
change
picture,
anything. I mean,
yeah.
You
I've
can
always,
name- yeah,
I've always
I-
had questions about the mural that we have. There's no mountains in Etna Green, and you know what I mean. So it's like,
I don't know. If
No
you can all
pixies
see
either.
this.
Anyway.
It's the
Right.
really old depot that burned.
So that was our
And it's
kind
got an
of
old
that was
guy
our
standing
favorite,
here.
but he said he liked the Main Street one. So this is the Main Street. So Justin's favorite was either this one. He said the perspective
one
the
too.
perspective is wonky, but he says
I don't know if you can
the
see
perspective is wonky, but I can easily fix that and
It's an
make
old
it look
picture that's
correct.
right out here.
I like the.
Then it's got a-
what
And
about the one with the
then-
train?
And it says garage.
The other one he said is the elevator. So I'm assuming
Oh yeah, that
is this the elevator that
the,
is
or the lumber company.
that's a lumber company before the elevator.
is that the elevator? And the
That's
lumber
it.
company?
That's the elevator where
With the
the
depot.
or the lumber company where the and where the elevator's at now.
Yeah, so I think that's his. That was what it sounded
Is
like.
that the old depot?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and then the tracks are in between them.
My second favorite would be the elevator, which I'm assuming is that one. And so, but he said, obviously he wants to know what your input is. So
Where's
I don't know
is
if
the
we-
where's the one with the train that in it that
Steam engine.
yeah. Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't think it was that one. It was a locomotive.
Well, that
The
one
middle
there.
one on the bottom.
Right.
Ah, this one here.
Yeah.
That
You know where that is?
is that the
That
blue?
building is a house out here on 800.
It was moved out there, or this is that intersection.
Sorry, I got off the track. What?
This is that intersection out
Right,
there
Lisa,
at
you're on the
800.
track.
Past the intersection.
Okay. Okay, I
Sorry.
didn't.
I think there's too many decisions here for us
Okay.
to make.
Yeah, I
this
think like
decision.
2 decisions are all I need. Really, is
Right,
like if you
well-
pick the
These
picture,
two.
and then if we know the location, then we
Would you
can
like
at least
another
move
one?
forward with cost.
I do kind of like that one, but it's
Well, I mean, just pick like 3 of them, and then let the community pick. Because do you guys actually think that the liquor store is a viable option? Only 2 options with the liquor
I
store.
don't. I mean, I just don't. From a community standpoint and a people standpoint, I don't think we should endorse a liquor store as far as that goes.
That over there.
So I feel like we have that choice already made. I think
Right,
that the
right.
post
Yeah.
office is the one choice. I think that's easy to make. It sounds like I felt like it was easy, but I wasn't going to
No.
say that.
We'll cover up the bricks that are popping. It needs repair.
Oh, at the liquor store.
No, over here.
No,
Oh, yeah.
across the street
This
as
side
far as
of it.
that goes. I
Yeah,
mean,
so that
there's-
makes it easy.
There's some people that are against alcohol as far as that goes, so that might turn them people off.
Completely get
I
that.
don't know that anybody's against the post office. I mean, there might be a couple, but I mean, I don't think that's a big thing as far as that goes. So I mean, I think that building would be,
Is a
you know.
safer option.
I
It-
Personally, I like this one, this one. and
The
this one.
nice thing too would be that you can stand in the center of town here in the middle of the intersection. You can see 2 of them at once.
This-
you know,
I
mean,
honestly
This is
felt the
outside
same
of
way.
town.
So,
This is the
but
intersection of 800.
yeah, I just feel like that's a
Or is
safer
this
and
actually
more
in
No, no,
town?
no, that building.
Was moved
more,
out there, or
approachable
Okay.
option.
okay,
I'll tell you about that.
that didn't good.
So if
Okay.
if we have that as that, then Susie can get the kind of final confirmation, and
Then
then
you want to take this one out.
if we can get
I'll leave it
at
in there.
least one other
We'll see.
decision as far as like what we want Patty to put and get opinions on, then we're 2 steps closer to at least having what we need to be able to get the final financial piece, and then we'll know which
Yeah,
grant
and
to
then I'll
apply
push out
for.
here. Okay.
Right there. Then they can look at it after. You
Yeah.
gonna come up and look? Anybody come up and look?
Yeah.
If we
We
narrow
need
it
a
down to
projector
these
screen is what
four,
we need.
which one would you like to
You got
see on the
these
side of
four?
the post office?
As far as what we picked out, yeah, we're thinking of that day.
Isn't this where the apartments used to be? Yeah.
This is down where those apartments are.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
old
That's
depot.
the old
and then
depot.
Then the
And
feed
then
mill.
yeah. Well, then there was a lumber company that was down there too.
Out of those four, they're gonna paint it on the side of the post office?
They're gonna
No,
put
they're
it
gonna
on
put it
the
on
panels,
sign and
on
put the
sign.
sign on the building.
They're gonna paint the panels and
Attached to the building. Attached to the building.
I like this one only because the town, it shows what's here,
Yep.
what's here.
I
what's
really
still
like
here.
that one too.
But like you say, there can be
I like
adjustments
this
made
one
to it,
too.
and that thing's added, and to make it personal, more
Like put
personal,
big wheels.
and make
Yeah.
the
Big wheels
people know what it is that and
Can we incorporate this and put the train going through town and then we can get both of
All
them
right,
together?
that's a possibility. It could
Because
have
then
it
we
in the
can combine
background.
these two together.
Right, that's a good idea.
Because I really
or
like both of those.
or on that
Yeah.
one over there with the train
People in
depot.
here, you can put
I think it'd be
Horse and
really
buggy.
cool if he could combine these two somehow.
Yeah, you can.
I bet he could
Right.
he could put other buildings in there. And
I just like the color of that one.
See, right there's,
This one?
that's in Greentown. It's on panels.
I remember
like
all
they
a lot
do
of
that.
those
Put the
buildings.
panels on the building instead of painting it.
I know.
End of my day. It's a long day.
Yeah, I like those too.
Okay,
Was it? There wouldn't be anything there that the fire department would want.
so is this consensus?
Is that
If he could get the train
ever
in
thought about
that
doing
one?
that?
Well,
for
I
the
I
think
like
fire
that.
they
department?
were talking about the fire department, but she had a
You
reason.
don't see
He
it
was
from
asking
one
about the
way.
fire department.
What about-
Why,
Oh, the mural on the side of the.
why we didn't
But they
choose the fire
haven't done
department.
one yet. That they, I just was. Would
We never heard anything
There
more
was-
back from that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He just
would
weird
they-
because he
would
came
they-
down and asked me to donate.
But that
and I
would
said,
be a
I'll let you borrow my
possibility of
scissor
doing
lift to
something
do
too.
it.
that-
And he
on
was
that.
all
Well,
about
we
it,
could
and then
do,
he
because what
disappeared.
Susie and I talked about is if we get one done, we can also do another one.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's the
But that would
thing
be
is
a
like,
perfect place for one on
Yeah.
this outside of that building. I would think.
Windows.
I would recommend
You don't
guys
think
do
so?
a motion.
It needs to remain professional looking.
Is there some expense that could go into this?
Might
if the
be.
grant
yeah,
is
and
not
so
paid?
like basically this will, like, once this decision's made, then we'll know the location if we have chosen that, as well as like the subject matter. So then I can go back to the two boys and say, hey, this is the picture and this is the location, and then they can give us the full cost of what it is. And then at that point, we would have to like apply for a grant application, and so I'd have to come back and, because then I would know which grant application and what the deadline is on that. So
Okay.
If we make a motion though, aren't we sort of getting into it ahead of time?
Well, and if the funding stuff isn't arranged yet, then this wouldn't be binding, so it's not as
yeah,
important
because we
for a
don't have the
motion.
funding set up yet. I mean, we do have a match that has been basically given, but without the final details. We have the only thing that the motion I think would be is really just the location and the picture process. Everything else I would
get
come
the-
back again,
And to get
Yeah.
more information,
So that we
considering
could-
that the location.
so that we could get the final cost associated,
So we
and then I
would
could bring
know-
that back in another meeting.
Okay.
And then at that point, I would bring that back then also with the grant potential, because then the cost associated would be which grant that I would choose based on the ones that I have options for. So I would bring that back. That's when we could talk finance and those kinds of things. So
Would he make up some kind of a graphic of what he would think of putting those two together, and what it would look like?
It's
I
too
don't know,
much
but we
all
could
at
ask
once.
him that.
Yeah,
So
that would
Yeah.
help. But it.
I have a picture of the gas pumps out here in front of this building, across the street. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
No, it's not up here, but I have a picture of, like I said, when the two gas pumps were
I've
out
seen
here
that
in front of
picture.
it. No, I have that picture.
It's got the skinny top.
Right, and it also has the Ford emblem out front, so it would have been in 1935 or after. But I mean,
That's
like,
before 35.
right. I mean, but see, here again, like I said, I think that picture, you know, if that was taken out, and like you guys are saying, and they incorporated the train crossing the tracks, that would give a whole ton of history.
Yeah, I mean, he said if you take two pictures, like let's say there's two pictures that you're super interested in, you can't decide. He's, you know, he obviously can't, because what he has to do is he has to draw up, like you said, some sort of rendition of what that would look like.
If he,
I do the
Because he'd
same.
have
if
to
he could
fit,
get
like
a
he said, he'd
a
have
copy
to
of that
fix
picture,
if it was that
so
one.
he could look at that and
Yeah, I
incorporate
have
the
pictures.
gas
Yeah,
pumps and,
right.
and to have more ideas of what
Right.
the
I think as long as he has whatever pictures that he has, and he can kind of, from what I understand, mold them together.
I do the same thing with sheet metal.
Yeah, and so that's just what he would need. But
That's
you
the
know,
whole downtown.
Right.
yeah, that's a little much. That's
Well, that's when the post office was right here instead of being on the corner. Because the post office sign is right here. Post office used to be where my showroom is
there.
at. This is where this is the main building here, but then the showroom is right here now, and that's where the post office used to be.
I see that now.
Mhm.
so these are.
so I would say.
Are you guys going to put it out on social media, or did we just like
and if you
choose?
could get the train
I'll
down
make
here.
notes on there. Can you write notes? Can you show me what you want?
Do you have copies of all those? So she doesn't ruin them? Hold on. before you
I
go on
have,
there.
yeah, I have. I email myself those.
Go on, put 'em on
Okay.
sticky
So if
notes.
you want to write things on there, that's fine. Just so I can see it, what you're thinking. This one is out. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Main Street incorporating the train, and maybe gas pumps.
Well, the gas pumps would change the era, but then again, I think they're.
I don't think anybody would.
Well, the
really-
gas pumps are here. The mobile pumps are here. There used to be 6 gas stations
Those
here
are
in
lights,
town.
aren't they?
Well, those are the gas.
I see mobile there.
That's mobile oil. There used to be 6 gas stations
But
here
didn't
in
that a
Etna Green.
sign on that? That looks like a sign.
Seriously, I mean, you go back and well, see, this shows those power lines. That's a power pole, and that's where the power
Well, I
lines.
think
Those
we
lines
agreed
are
that
still in the top of that
post
building.
office is
Yes,
the
and
location.
I was hoping you could have it.
Right.
I mean, I was gonna do whatever you wanted to, but it makes my job easier if it's the post office versus like anything else because I can talk people into that a lot easier.
Right.
So.
Do you want to put pumps in here?
I would just go ahead and let. We'll have plenty of time to go over it. You know what I mean? I can show them those other pictures
Like when I was
as
thinking
far
about
as that goes,
presenting.
and I mean, I have a picture of the, and that would be a good one too. I have a picture of from out front out here when the 3 owners here in town went after the bank robbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have that picture, and I mean that was taken right out here in front of this building. You know what I mean? Somebody came in, robbed the bank, and it was Don Polson.
Yeah, not the robbery that was in 1990 or what.
Not that one, no. From the guy that lives across the street at the apartment.
Yeah, the one that was earlier.
No, they had Tommy guns and the whole thing in the picture.
Oh, cool.
Do you want this out?
That would
I
be-
don't like that, but yeah. I think it would, yeah. If you put the train in there, I think the more the accent should be on the train.
Is the train coming
track.
from downtown?
Yeah.
Well, no, it'll be crossing the tracks at the same time as what the picture is taken.
I was like, that would be
the
fun.
railroad
It's
sign-
just like going down Main Street.
No,
The
that's
crossbars
impossible.
are right there.
That is
for the
impossible,
train.
but
See the crossbars?
oh yeah. Okay, so have the train right there. Okay.
So I got add people,
It had the
train,
engine
and
just
possibly
starting
old
to go
gas
fast.
pumps. Right in front of here.
Okay.
And I
See
have
that mobile
other
sign?
pictures.
Oh.
So that those gas pumps are there. The fill tube is still inside my building.
Oh, how cool
Maybe
is
add
that?
that guy in there.
Okay. Well, hopefully I can remember all this.
Okay.
Did you want to make a motion just so we have it official?
I don't,
Whatever that
I think
motion
they said
means.
we don't need to
Do we
make a
not need
motion.
to,
The
like,
bigger thing will be the
location?
financial
Okay,
aspect.
so we're
later
fine.
on.
So I'm fine to move forward.
We're
with,
just looking for
if you want to
information.
confirm the location, because that will be helpful.
Okay.
And then I will get with, and that will help Eric.
Can you email me those?
These, yeah, I'll just take a picture and send them to you. Text them to you. Is that okay? Yeah. But yes, then I can get with
I can
Eric
show Kendra.
and get the final like cost on that, and then try to explain to Justin this, and then get the cost on that. So if I understand, we've got a train where the tracks are. We've got the people. You want people on the sidewalks with the pumps.
Possibly the pump.
Possibly the pumps, but you like this train, so this train.
Well,
If
they'd
possible.
have the engine
It
going
can go
across,
either
so it
direction.
doesn't have.
It could be going either direction, and that's
Okay.
another thing too. Is I do have some old historical pictures of some of the older people here in town. As far as like the owner of the bank, I have pictures of the owner of my building. As far
Okay.
as Don Polson. So I mean, if you wanted people to stick in there
Can
for
you
historic
email
reasons,
those to me potentially?
um,
Or would you be able to scan them and email
I
them?
can. Yeah, I can. I got that.
Amy,
I
some
think
of
I
them
have
are
this.
right there. Those are the
Right.
pictures.
Right.
And there's the old depot.
Yeah, because right here's that's like when before it was Ford, that was Whippet. As far as when they sold the Whippets there, those are the two gas pumps that are in that picture.
Oh,
Right there. And then see in 1935, the Ford emblem was put up front for the first time or whatever, as far as that goes. And then it was Ford from 1935 all the way up till 2001.
oh wow, okay.
So, and then then you had the doctor's office and the laundromat, and we can go into some other history as far as your family had stuff in the one building, and I won't bring up the other stuff that happened upstairs.
Okay, if you want to send me those pictures, and then
Yeah.
I will try to communicate this to Justin, and then we will,
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
because I
You
think
kick
Yeah.
those two ladies
It
out of
did.
the upstairs.
It doesn't. I don't
Red
think it
light
has to be
district.
that train, but just say a train, an engine starting to go across the tracks one way or the other.
Okay.
How it would work, but that's an idea.
yeah, because I think that the grant applications, if I remember correctly, are due sometime either between January and March. So,
So
we'll
this
want
would
to
be for
like.
next year.
Yes, we were gonna try to get done this fall, but we missed everything. So, and it's gonna be winter before.
Yeah.
So just to, paint and all the things, like no matter, you just have to make sure that it's warm enough. And I just don't think we can get this done fast enough for it to be warm enough. So probably sometime early spring, and then the kids before they go, we can add the kids. It will be a fun event like we did. So
Yeah, don't say that dirty word again.
winter.
Yeah.
I know I'm not ready for that
Right.
either.
Even though it's white.
It's coming. All right.
It's coming.
All right, let's go ahead and let's move on here. We're going to move on to old business. I have one thing to go over as far as that. I've been in contact with input as far as that goes, and we're moving in, Nick, as far as we are moving forward with that project out there between the Walls family and Gulfstream, and moving some power lines out there. So that project it's moving forward, and hopefully we're going to be starting on it here very soon. So does anybody else have any old business here to talk about? Okay, let's move on to employee comments. You guys got anything?
Not really. There's we need to get a tree company. I gotta give it Patty. There's a couple of trees up at the park that need to be cleaned out. There's one that's actually dead between the swing set and the curlicue spike up there.
Right.
That one's dying off, and then up there by the jungle gym and all that, by the basketball court, there's a lot of dead branches up in those that need to be cut out every time the wind blows. We get branches.
Yeah.
Are they
big
oak
branches
trees?
fall.
So we need to get that, and just pretty much we did get gravel put down at the lift
I
station
seen
out
that,
there.
yeah. Did we get the thing scraped out there at sewer pit yet?
We're working on it.
Okay.
I have to get a mini excavator or something like that to go down inside there and get it a little bit easier.
Right.
We tried with the backhoe today and whatever. I got half of it, but it's
Half?
not really working off that.
Give Richard a shovel.
That would require better pay.
Right, right. Okay.
And on that note,
What about that?
the rising question, in my opinion, of full-time,
We're not talking about that tonight, so.
gee, thanks.
I would. Well, I was wanting to bring up about Michael Walters, but that seems to be a prime candidate for the apprentice program at and would be that I think we need to move quickly on Dave before we lose the opportunity of having him, of getting him interviewed, and I think what I've looked through this and know of him and talk with people that I think he's a gold mine we don't want to miss. We need to move on this.
Well, I don't know about that, but
think we need to talk about if we're gonna keep Asbury or hire somebody.
Well, but the thing is, if we keep Asbury and to doing it all, that we need to sign a contract with them, and then the rates are gonna go way up to pay for them to, what we're,
but by the
what we
time
saw.
by the time you add in wages and you add in insurance, they almost match each other on what it costs.
They do not.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. And we do need a second employee in town he needs a backup and we need a second full-time employee. There is the work to be done I mean, it would be a lot better off for us to have somebody out at the waste treatment plant of our own that knows how to do electrical work and mechanical work and do the testing and to be our employee that can help with things with the water. But I know from what Andy said that the waste treatment plant can be a full-time job at times, and we need to. But if we don't move with Mike, then we're lost on it, and on getting we'd be losing a good advantage of what we have. But then we're really going to be digging the dregs for trying to find somebody that will work.
Keith, I've looked through a ton of applications this year already as far as that goes and everything else, and there's a ton of people out there, and I don't think this is something that we need to make a rash decision on at the moment. So I don't see us moving forward right at the moment.
Well, that's something I think that's a mistake if we don't be moving here soon. Because he's local, that we need and that's a big thing of that how many of all those applications were local people.
I just don't understand why you're making such a big deal about we need to hire one guy when I've looked at tons of applications, and now all of a sudden your first day back you're wanting to push us to hire someone. So I think this needs to be tabled to another meeting.
Well,
He's pushing it because you've been dragging your feet for a long time.
You know what? This town has a lot of problems with employees, and it has for the last couple of years. And I'm not going to make any rash decisions to take and replace the problems that we have or whatever as far as that goes. And it is up to this town council. It is not up to certain individuals or whatever on making those decisions.
But I do think we do need to be moving along. We've had plenty of time to be making the decision on this. We need to be doing something on it. We need to be at least interview him, and that I think the council needs to get together and do an interview with the town superintendent and see what he has to say and how he would fit in.
I'd like to see some numbers.
There's a whole bunch of questions I have, but I mean, yeah, let's.
I've already sent them to you in an email. Having employees would be a third of the cost of Ashbury, and that
When
is
was that
just with
email sent?
mentoring.
Recently?
I still have the
Last
Ashbury
year.
contract that you tried
Oh,
to
I
get
thought
me to
that one.
sign in February is still sitting across there with all my paperwork. You know what I mean, as far as that goes. But
Yeah,
by the
because
time,
nobody's ever brought it up.
well, I don't think we need to look into it both ways. We need to look into
But that's
it.
going to be like 3 times the cost, though.
3 times the cost.
3 times. Well, let's look at
3
the
times
numbers
the
then.
cost.
Let's look at the actual numbers as far as that goes.
I'll look
And
that email up.
as far as that, because I mean, it takes away the responsibility of the town having to deal with it, so that we don't have these problems that we've had in the past.
Yeah, but then we're gonna pay 3 times the amount to have our utilities.
And then
So
we're gonna end up having that big rate increase on the sewer system and water system on top of everything else that we were looking
Well,
at. It's good.
They're gonna bring us some numbers.
Yeah.
So,
Like, I can guarantee you that I've had enough dealings with this but that's what I would be. That's just giving you a warning. That's what to expect. or that if we go with Asbury to do it all, that there be that it's a we're going the citizens in town are going to be paying through the nose for water and the wastewater.
Well, like I said, I'd like to look at those numbers.
How many towns does Asbury have? Does anybody know?
Asbury does Argus. They do the numerous different ones, and I just had a conversation just a couple weeks ago with a guy from Argus or whatever, and he's perfectly happy with letting them take care of it because they don't have to mess with the certifications. They do an excellent job as far as that. You know, he said he thought about taking it back over and the town taking it back over, but he says, but he doesn't want to deal with the headache. He doesn't want to deal with all the drama. He doesn't want to deal with, you know what I mean, as fact of. So there's a lot of other things to look at other than financing as far as that.
But the town, I've talked with Jamie too about that, and the town of Argus has more employees that can handle the other things around that they don't just have one employee. And that's it. We only have one employee. One full-time employee. That's where the real crux of the matter comes in. That we can put a second employee to work and have him give him. There'll be plenty of work for him to do. For both of them to do.
No, if they're sitting out there.
I think, like I said, I think we need to table this conversation to another meeting. We've been here, a half hour longer than we normally have. You're just now coming back into this as far as that goes. I know you were here
I've been here just about every meeting.
I know you have, Keith, as far as that goes, but I'm not going to be railroaded and I'm not going to be pushed either as far as at a meeting, as far as that goes on. We got to hire this one guy. I think we need to look at a lot of finances and we need to look at different options or whatever, but just all of a sudden, oh my God, we got to hire this guy. I don't agree with it. I don't feel comfortable with it.
We need to be looking at it and actually doing something.
Okay, well, I've been doing a lot for the last 9 months, so I don't even want to hear it. Any other council comments?
I'd like to start seeing some results rather than just work on it for 9 months. We need to actually start getting some results.
If you want to sit here and argue about things or whatever, as far as that goes for the town, so that I know where things are going, where money's going, and stuff like that. And I haven't got to see any of that. I'm dealing with other things as far as with all the IMPA stuff and everything else that's being going on right now. So that's why I'm saying we're not going to sit here and argue about employee problems. We can always hire people part-time or whatever. We can work with people. We can subcontract stuff out. There's other options there other than, we're just going to hire. Like I said, there was problems in the past as far as what happened with the employees that were here. And you were part of that. And I don't want to go back into that situation. I want to make sure that we're moving forward with what is happening here in town as far as that goes, and that we just don't go back to the old ways that we used to do things.
No, that's not what we're doing.
Well, that's what you're proposing. So,
no.
Like I said, we're going to put this off for this meeting. So, does anybody else have anything else? Is there any other comments from anybody else here? I make a motion we adjourn this meeting.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Will you just tell me your email, because Kevin forwarded it to me to the department, but so that she's got.
I want to introduce you guys to somebody. He's not replacing me, but this is Rama Shivani. He's the newest attorney in our office.
Okay.
Keith Roberts. He's a fine filter.
So that she's going to.
Keith
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'll talk.
Good day.
Rama. What's your name? Rama.
Rama?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a new attorney in the office. So
He's not replacing me. He's just,
I'm just
you're
learning.
just shadowing.
You're just shadowing. Okay.
See what goes on.
Yeah.
He's a former reporter and we covered local government, so
That's
he's
right.
interested in stuff.
Yep. I spent a lot of time in county commissioners meetings and other town boards, so I'm kind of middle of the land.
Rama, first name or last name?
That's my first name.
First name. Okay.
So, he's
Okay.
been.
Well, it's good to meet y'all.
Glad you could come.
Yeah. Thanks.
It says equipment. All right, I will.
Have a good night.
Right, you too.
Thank you,
Time
Nick.
for bed.
You have a good day.
Yeah.
You too.
Okay. Patty, this is Rama. Introduce you to him. Patty Cook, he's a filter. He's the newest attorney at our office.
Right.
He's just
Oh,
sitting in.
I wondered what you were there and you didn't say anything.
Just
Nice to meet you.
making his rounds.
Double check.
Have a good evening.
So
You take care,
And
guys.
welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
And,
Dick, just had a great thought.
yeah, we just need a support letter.
Yeah, I think if
We didn't go through, officers today, that the Jason was vice president. It is a, do I just